At first it was a little challenging because, sometimes you think you're put on this earth to meet to meet the masses or to help the masses of people. And I realized through, certain areas, I was like, okay, he don't have me here for everybody. And you realize that sometimes too through your conversations with people. Sometimes you have conversations with people. I told you about that once. I had a conversation with someone. I said, oh no, that's not my assignment. Yeah. that's somebody else's assignment. And so it's just one of those things of kind of really honing in on, who are the people that I'm targeting, and then even getting me into the mentality of how to reach them. Because I'm not even gonna lie, when you start talking about social media and all that stuff, I'm like, I got off social media for a reason. I've been off social media for almost 6 months now. I'm like, I don't want to get back on social media.
Yeah.
But learning how to, not only who they are, but how to reach them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not going to be as bad as you think. It'll be all right. So how did it change your routine? Like just your daily habits?
Yeah, it changed in a lot of ways. It changed from making my daily devotional a part of, hence the word daily. So trying to make it a daily devotional. And so I remember at first I told you, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it during lunch. We tried 12 o'clock. It didn't work. Then I moved it to after work, and I think I tried earlier, and I was like, it didn't work. So I had to find what worked for me as far as getting the word in, and making time for God, and I, something that I even shared with you. I said we as people, we spend time when we go to school and we get a job. Say you want to be a doctor, you spend so many years preparing for that role. You're studying, you're in your books every day, but you think about as Christians, how many of us are actually investing the time into that like we are our jobs?
Yeah.
And so that was one of those things where I said, okay, I need to invest more time. And I feel like I'm reading a brand new book.
Yeah.
It's almost like a soap opera sometimes. You're like, oh, goodness gracious, what's going on? The Bible's actually good these days, but because you can relate to it as an adult. When I was reading as a kid, it was good, but now you can actually relate to it. And, even teaching Bible study and teaching people things that come from the word and these little pieces that are there. And you can legit read the same scripture 10 different times and get 10 different things out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was listening to a sermon not long ago. It says you see based on where you are, right, and based on where you are is how you act. And so when God progresses you can read it again, and then you're going to see something totally different. So that was a big thing that changed, was making that a part of my routines, and then also praying more, going to him in prayer. And one thing that I tried to do was I won't say it always, but I was one of those people when you go through something, you're like, who am I going to call? Let me call Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
And so one thing that God did was he would sit me down sometimes. Sit me down. I would call Jimmy and Jimmy wouldn't answer. And then I call Susie and Susie don't answer either.
Mm-hmm.
And then I call Sarah and Sarah don't answer. I'm like, how is nobody available? Mm-hmm. And so there were moments in my journey that he said, no, I want you to come to me. And so I had to realize, and there are moments where you should go to Susie or Sarah or, whoever else's name I said. And then there's those moments where you should take it to God and give it to God.
Yeah. Amen.